Hello and welcome to another Financial Education Public-Private Partnership, or FEP, Professional Development, Scam or Smart Business, a Critical Thinking Challenge. Today, we are going to look at some very multifaceted issues related to scams and frauds and two specific case studies that have been in the news in the last few months. If you have not already, please do sign in with your name, school, district, or organization in that chat. And please do note that AI chatbots are not permitted. In order to receive your clock hours for this training, you will rate and evaluate this training through emails that you will receive directly from PD Enroller. Again, the lovely Linda will be managing the attendance, and the chat does act as sort of our unofficial transcript. So if you have attendance questions, that's a great place to put them. Our presentation slides and resources will all be available for download in PD Enroller after this presentation. If you are able to, please do turn your camera on. It's just a lovely view for us speakers. And if you're able to participate, we are definitely going to be soliciting some opinions about these issues later on. So that is absolutely something we want to hear from your point of view, whether it's I need more information or this is what I think. And like I mentioned, use the chat to participate and ask any questions, but do just please note that the presenters are mostly unable to answer DMs during the presentation. So if you have a question, again, the chat is the best place to put it. And as always, I would like to start with a land acknowledgement. I am joining you from the traditional lands of the Spokane people, although you see from our map here that we have a beautiful representation of the First Nations in our area of the country. This is a resource from native-land.ca. It's an organization that honors the sovereignty of all Indigenous nations, their lands, and their waters. By recognizing the boundaries and territories are representations of the sacred. They work to update and replace information that is a continuation of trauma caused by theft, injustice, misinformation, or ignorance. And this map is a living document informed by the contributions of Indigenous communities, Indigenous knowledge holders, and their stories. It is an honoring of Indigenous resilience, past, present, and future. And hello, my name is Amy Klewer, and I will be your facilitator today. I am honored to serve as the K-8 program supervisor at the Financial Education Public-Private Partnership. And I'm joined today by Nathan Speaker from the Department of Financial Institutions, who will introduce himself in just a moment. I was born and raised in the Pacific Northwest, but I did spend my classroom experience in Phoenix, Arizona, where I taught fifth grade and everything, and seventh grade math, social studies, and social emotional learning. A huge part of my classroom was our classroom economy, which is what really facilitated my love of bringing personal finance to students. I also did quite a bit of peer-to-peer instructional coaching during my time in the classroom, so I do try to bring that teacher-centered approach to these PDs and the resources we provide you as well. I call myself a financial wellness work in progress. I recently paid off my car and have an asset, which is really, really exciting to me. I've never owned a car before. I got the title in the mail last week. So that has been an accomplishment that I'm very proud of. My time and money right now is consumed by gardening. I moved 1.5 yards of dirt into my raised beds last weekend, so my shoulders really hurt. But that is one of the greatest things about being back in Washington are the seasons. So excited to be here with you today. I'm going to go ahead and briefly introduce our organization, FEP, the Financial Education Public-Private Partnership. We have been around in Washington State since 2004, when we were formed by our Washington State legislature with the overarching goal of increasing the financial education we are providing to our K-12 students here in Washington. We do this through 3 primary responsibilities. We identify high quality, diverse instructional materials that meet our students at their lived experience. We post those resources on our website. And we do a lot of work through professional development, recognizing that we want to support our educators in bringing this information that has traditionally not been part of classrooms into the classroom. And we also have a grant opportunity with our SB 5720 grant. So if you are someone in a district that works in that topic, you want to check out our website. And I would also just like to share that last year, our executive director, Tracy Godat, received the NEFI Innovation Award at the National Endowment for Financial Education's biannual summit. So been an honor to be a part of FEP as we have grown over the last couple years, and we look forward to continuing to serve this state. And we have what we call a very holistic approach to K-12 financial education. We recognize that personal finance is not one size fits all, and that while it can be an effective standalone class, it also provides a lot of very meaningful, rigorous cross-curricular opportunities for our students. So as you can see here, we have developed relationships with our Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction and with different groups around the state in order to help support personal finance in the classroom. And today we're going to kind of focus on economics. We're talking a little about economics. We're talking about digital citizenship. We're definitely going to talk about social emotional learning. There are a lot of social studies standards that could be connected here through civics, even some of the government when we talk about regulation. I would also say financial decision making and post-secondary planning, you can really combine that into all of the PDs that we develop, because we believe part of making our students, college and career ready is being equipped to handle the financial decisions they will see once they're outside of our K-12 kind of education. So, and with that, oh, have a little animation. Last thing we're going to look at here is just our agenda for the day. We're going to do a little definitions on scams, and then we're really going to dig into looking at these two recent, I'll call them controversies, financial controversies, and look at how we can ask our students to think critically at, like I said, a multifaceted topic, to turn it around in several different directions and come to conclusions. And within that, we'll provide some discussion and writing-based activities that encourage critical thinking and what I'm calling healthy financial skepticism. The topics we're going to talk about today are the Honey browser extension and the YouTube scandal that happened at the end of last year. And also, we're going to talk about meme coins today. And we're going to use the example of the Hawk coin, which is also an interesting picture of viral fame, and look at the fallout and results from that. But before we get into anything, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to, as I mentioned, Nathan Speaker here from the Washington State Department of Financial Institutions to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about what Washington DFI does.
All right. First of all, thank you, Amy, and thank you, FEP, for inviting me, for the opportunity to be here and learn, share in our collective knowledge. As Amy mentioned, my name is Nathan Speaker. I am the outreach coordinator for financial education here at the Washington State Department of Financial Institutions. As an agency, we license and regulate financial service providers. So that's everything from banks and credit unions to mortgage loan originators, payday lenders, money transmitters. I put it very simply in saying that really, if somebody makes money, moving money, or working with money, they are a financial service provider, and therefore they have to be licensed here in Washington State in order to do their job legally, right? We also do take complaints from the public. So if you do have a complaint about a financial service provider, please do let us know. Very rarely are we the only people in the world to have experienced any given thing. So if you feel like you have been mistreated by your financial institution or by your financial service provider, please do complain. It helps yourself, it helps your neighbors, it helps our entire community as we endeavor to create a safe financial marketplace here in Washington.
Fantastic. And then I'm going to go ahead and share screen, Nathan, and talk, show off the 10B website.
Awesome, thank you. So the 10B website We read a report from the Federal Trade Commission, who are federal partners that sort of go after fraudsters and scammers, and they found that in 2023 there were $10 billion lost to fraud just in that year, right? So about this time last year, we created an ad campaign, and part of this ad campaign to raise awareness about fraud and scams was building up this website. So here, we've put a lot of work into it, and I feel really proud of the work we've done. We've got three main things that we seek to achieve through this website. As you can see there on the bottom of the screen, it is identify, prevent, and report scams. My apologies, my cat was getting in the way. So if we go to identify, you can learn about common scams. As we scroll down, there will be brief definitions of various different types of scams. And if you see one that really catches your eye and you want to learn more, you can just click on that button right there, any one of them, and it'll redirect you to a trusted source. In this case, it's NASA, it's the organization that regulates securities. National Association of Security. I don't know. It's not the National Aerospace Company anyway. So we do redirect you to trusted sources, and there's a lot of opportunity for learning here. As I said, just brief definition. If you want to learn more, click on the specific ones. After we've gone through the identify page, we've got a prevention page, which basically goes through a few practical steps we can take to avoid scams. We really just want to create sort of a one-stop shop where you can learn where to identify and protect yourself from scams. And as we scroll down on this page, at the very bottom, let's see, next up will be report. And of course, as many of us may have already experienced as we try to submit a report or a complaint, sometimes we'll go through the work of submitting a complaint only to realize that the people or the agency that we complain to does not oversee the specific issue that we are complaining about. So in this drop-down list, basically you click on the type of scam that you have been affected by, and we will tell you where you can report it. So if you were to click on banking scams, that would be through the Washington State Department of Financial Institutions. It's got our complaint form right there, which we have just recently revamped as well, which I'm really happy about. If we were to go back a page and then click on identity theft, it'll take us to identitytheft.gov, which is run by the Federal Trade Commission. So once again, we really endeavor to provide solid, trustworthy resources where people can go and educate themselves and also start a complaint process and sort of get their life back on track. Because we know that scams and frauds are really prevalent, and they can also be extremely disruptive in our lives, right? So that's the 10B website, dfi.wa.gov/10B is going to be the website. I hope that it is useful to you all. I encourage you all to check it out on your own time. Yeah, thanks for the space to share this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nathan. So we have presented our partnership with DFI before, and one of the areas we found a lot of success or interest with this website was through librarians or computer teachers who are looking for lessons to beef up their digital citizenship. Maybe we're not just talking about avoiding clickbait, we're kind of priming our students for some of the more serious things they may encounter on the internet. So thank you so much, Nathan, for providing that resource. And Nathan will be chiming in here and as we move through our webinar and providing support as we move through sort of our definition. Let's get sharing here again. All right. And so we're just going to kind of start by looking at the basic definitions of scam and fraud, which are really not as straightforward as, you know, we might think they are. So historically, we're referring to a scam as a story or a rumor, or even just a piece of information. If you were to come home after a visit, you'd get all the scam on your friend's, latest dating or whatever. But contemporarily, we're looking at dishonesty. We're looking at schemes to gain money or possessions. And that word fraudulently, at least in Oxford Dictionary, is used as part of the definition. Typically, scams are convincing victims to authorize a transaction, a financial transaction, or provide information. But we talk about phishing as a scam when we are actually providing that information. When the victim is providing the information to the fraudster. So that is one element that we can look at as a scam, characteristic of a scam. Fraud is at once a broader term, but it also more explicitly concrete. I love this definition, the intentional perversion of truth to induce another to part with something of value or to surrender a legal right. So it's a little more broad. However, this is the term that is explicitly recognized as a criminal activity under the law. No one's ever going to be charged with scam. They're charged with fraud, right? So I realized that in the title of our webinar today, we're saying, scam or smart business. And we'll talk a little bit about that language because it is almost intentionally a little vague. We have to determine the difference between a colloquial scam and what is an actual fraud. And that is not supposed to say represent. It's supposed to say represent. A fraud is unauthorized activity, basically any unauthorized activity. So with some basic definitions, let's dig in to our first case study, the Honey browser extension. Does anyone use this? This is a Google Chrome browser extension. So you would have actually had to download it onto your computer. Okay. It maybe wouldn't have looked like this when you downloaded it. They have undergone a rebrand, at least recently. Used to use it. I have a couple of people that used to use it in the chat. To provide some background, we're going to talk a little bit about affiliate marketing and social commerce. Then we'll look at this Honey browser extension scandal and we'll decide scam or smart business. So let's take a look. Affiliate marketing is everywhere now, and we would really probably call it social media marketing or influencer marketing. But the term that you're entering into on the contract is the affiliate marketing program. The performance-based strategy where any affiliate will earn a percentage of that sale or a commission for promoting a product or a service. There are a few different types of affiliate marketing. We have unattached affiliate marketing, which is pretty much just I'll promote anything to anyone. What we're focusing in on would call related affiliate marketing. That's when you are, promoting products or services that relate to an existing audience that you have. That would be our influencers. There's also content creation that includes an affiliate product or service. So that would be like a product reviewer. So anybody on YouTube who does product reviews, it's possible that they are actually being, more than possible, probable that they are being paid to review the product, or at the very least receiving the product for free. Fun fact, does anybody know the top grossing YouTube channel on YouTube? I'll give you a minute to answer that in the chat. If you think you know who earns the most on YouTube, I would love for you to let me know. So we're looking at influencers, content creators, and product reviewers. I follow them, you follow them, our students follow them. And so it's a very, very popular form of marketing. We're looking at a predicted 12 billion spent on affiliate marketing this year. Okay, it's a lot of money, to the point where some companies are providing incentives to get them to specifically use this type of marketing strategy to connect with their customers. As you can see on the right here, There's a lot of different ways you can get paid for this. That's not a super important detail. But what we can look at here is the amount you can make per month, which could be anywhere from, $500 if you've only been doing this a couple months to, people with 3+ years of experience and a lot of following can earn upwards of $50,000 a month. A month. This is not annual or gross. This is monthly salary. So there's a massive amount of money here. And specific industries are better paying. So where business, accessories, and health have the highest average commissions. So that was interesting to me because if I really thought about it, like the accessories and the health are definitely the ads that come across my social media feeds the most often, which would make sense because those commissions are so high. So anytime we're on social media, we are looking at affiliate marketing. But how do they know, right? How does the company that's paying for the affiliate marketing know or give credit to the right affiliate? They do it through last click attrition, which is the term for what is commonly called the industry standard. This is the accepted industry standard right now, as it is. It's a marketing model, marketing attribution model, and all the credit for the sale goes to the final touch point in the buyer's journey. So if you search through 3 different, accounts looking for a product, and on the final account, you click that link, that final account gets credit for the product, nobody else. So that is one aspect of this case study to look at. There are split attribution models. There is first click attribution models, right? So there's a lot of components to how people get paid through this. And the other thing to keep in mind with affiliate marketing and last click attrition, the price of the product is the same regardless. So if I'm buying a $100 product from Amazon and I just go straight to Amazon and I buy that product, it's $100. If I click through an influencer's link to their Amazon marketplace and I go that way, I'm still paying $100, but they are pocketing $10 and Amazon is taking 90 instead of the full 100. Right? So it doesn't change what we're actually paying for. This has been totally influenced and encouraged by social commerce. And I have been railing against social commerce for months without actually having this term. And now I have it. Social commerce is the integrated shopping features that all of our social media platforms have, right? It's everything from that shop now button underneath to the integrated shops like Facebook Marketplace or TikTok Shop. So this is allowing our content creators to put their links directly into that contact. They're calling it the shortest path purchase. So when you think about when you start looking at something versus your actual trip to that cash register, so they want, with this social commerce, users can discover products and complete transactions without ever leaving the social media platform. And if you have your card saved on your phone, you can check out frictionlessly too, which we call that when you don't have to touch anything to check out. So they're making the buying process so seamless and so quick that it is snapping up our dollars sometimes before we're even really thinking, like, I am shopping right now, right? It's a different shopping experience and one that our digital natives are getting exclusively. And like I mentioned, they're offering special incentives to creators to drive sales through this specific marketplace. So social commerce and affiliate marketing really sets the stage for what happened with the Honey browser extension. Honey was founded in 2012. This is interesting. It actually leaked on Reddit when it was like in development, and that kind of led to it exploding. So they had 1 million organic users by March of 2014. And in 2020, they sold to PayPal for $4 billion in cash. Throw that out there. I don't know how that's even possible, but that's what the news said. So as you can see, you add this extension to your browser, you shop, and they will test coupon codes. That's their product. They're going to find you savings by looking through coupons. The online coupons, the discount codes, the affiliate codes, 10% off purchase with Amy K, right? That's their thing. They're going to look at all of them to help you save money. And the big thing here is saving you money. You're going to buy it anyway, but there's all these codes floating around the internet. You're only exposed to a certain percentage of them. Let us do the heavy lifting for you. We will test all of them and get you the very best deal. And they present it as kind of a no-brainer, right? The average Honey members, saving $126 a year. They're getting 18% off their purchase. There's over, 30,000 stores you can buy from. Why would you not do this? So Honey is one of those products that appears very customer centered, right? The only existence is to save you money. But then everything changed in December 2024. But before we get into that, I'm going to let you hear directly from some of these affiliate marketers what Honey can do.
So now that we have a clearer picture of how Honey operates, let's reflect on
apologies.
Some of their claims.
Honey will find every working code on the internet and apply the best one to your cart.
If Honey can't find a discount code for you, then you can rest assured there's not a single discount or promo code on the internet.
It's a free browser extension that automatically finds you the best promo codes for anything you purchase online. You literally don't spend money.
Honey searches the known internet for every promo code ever used. This means you always get the best deals without even trying.
What Honey does is take money and they put it in your pocket.
If there is any way to save money on your purchase, they'll find it.
Getting you the lowest prices possible at checkout.
You are always going to get the best deal no matter where you're shopping. Amazon, eBay, Best Buy, doesn't matter. Honey's got your butt covered.
If Honey can't find a code, you have the best deal.
Okay. So direct from the affiliate marketer's mouth, this is a great product, right? But again, it's like a free service. So how would Honey make money? And you know what? Before we move on, I'm going to answer the question I posed to you guys in the chat because I was reminded watching that how young Mr. Beast looked in this video. You can tell they were from a while ago. There were a lot of Mr. Beast guesses. I believe the last I checked, he was in the top 3. Number 1 was Ryan's Toy Reviews. So yes, it is a kids channel. It is oh my God, I don't even know. I think he was 8 when he started. And he reviews toys. Dude Perfect and Mr. Beast round out the top 3. Okay, so again, how does Honey make money? Because it seems like such a customer serving, providing service, right? So they tell you explicitly they earn these commissions. They make commissions from merchant partners. They earn these commissions when a member uses Honey to find available savings or to activate PayPal rewards. Okay, so anytime that you're using Honey or activating PayPal rewards, which let's just talk about PayPal rewards for 1 second. Cashback reward programs are always interesting when you take a hard look at them. PayPal rewards typically equates to 1 cent per point, meaning you spend $100 to earn $1. And we see a lot of cashback reward programs that follow the same similar model. So that's just another little consumer awareness tip. Be aware of what these programs offer, because many of them require a second opting in to participate in them. And that's what I think connects to this sort of second paragraph, which what makes Honey unique is they pass some of the earnings back to their members in that PayPal reward. So once you've spent $100, they'll give you $1. And it's what allows them to provide a free service without selling anyone's data. So Honey is saying, hey, we're not data mining your information for this free service, but we are making our money from our merchant partners. So that's how they make money and stay in business. On December 21st, last year, a YouTuber named Megalag uploaded this video. I mean, just look at the thumbnail. These are very prominent YouTubers. Anyone on YouTuber will know at least one of these guys. And just for some context, Megalag's account description says whistleblower, inside information, anonymous tip, email me. And this video has 17 million views to date. And rather than explain it, I am going to let Megalag explain it to you.
By now, you've probably heard about Honey. You know, the browser extension that saves you money.
Do you have Honey installed?
What's Honey?
Oh, no.
Honey.
Honey is a free browser extension.
Free browser extension.
Free browser extension.
Free browser extension.
That automatically applies coupon codes when you check out online.
Free money, basically.
It's literally free money.
It doesn't make sense to not be using this.
So what's the catch?
There is no catch.
Join Honey. Join Honey. Join Honey.
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 Honey. Honey.
Honey.
Honey. Honey. Honey. Honey. Honey. Honey.
Join Honey. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but your favorite influencers sold you a lie. Honey is a scam, and the majority of claims promoted by those influencers aren't even remotely true. But it gets worse. Honey hasn't just been scamming you, the consumer, they've also been stealing money from influencers, including the very ones they paid to promote their product. And I'm not just talking about a few bucks here. I believe the scam has likely cost content creators millions of dollars. Sound crazy? Well, I didn't believe it at first either, until I experienced it myself firsthand. In fact, I'm confident this might just be the biggest influencer scam of all time, which is insane considering Honey is owned and run by PayPal, who purchased this company for $4 billion. This three-part series is the result of a multi-year investigation where I believe I've uncovered signs of advertising fraud, affiliate fraud, the illegal collection of personal data, deception, lies, coercion, extortion, the list goes on. I've reviewed hundreds of documents, adverts, sponsorships. I've reviewed emails between Honey and merchants, interviewed victims. Believe me, this runs deep. Now, I want to be clear, the views, allegations, and conclusions expressed in this series are my opinions, based on evidence I have gathered, which will be shared throughout. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Honey Trap.
Okay, so I'm going to pause. We're going to watch a couple more minutes in the video, but just want to talk about that introduction, right? When we are teaching our students writing, we're always talking about the hook. And there are a lot of hooks in this video. Advertising fraud, affiliate fraud, deception, lies, coercion. That's a lot of allegations. Very serious criminal allegations, right? So we definitely want to be aware of that. And if I was watching part of this with my students, I would look at that introduction and be like, what kind of stage setting is this person doing? And in a little bit, we will also talk about the credibility of the YouTubers that break these types of stories. But we're going to go ahead and listen to a couple more minutes of video where he really kind of goes into detail about the scam.
Now I know what you're thinking. It's a free browser extension. How bad could it be? Well, trust me, it's far more sinister than you might think. You know what they say, if a product's free, it's likely you're the product. And as you'll find out later in this investigation, that remains true for PayPal Honey. Now, like most people, I too fell for the lies. I mean, what's not to love about a free browser extension that saves you money? It's a compelling product, and with the endorsement from what feels like every single popular influencer on YouTube, it's no wonder millions of people downloaded it. Ironically, the very influencers promoting Honey seemingly had no idea the company was quietly picking money out of their very own pockets. Well, at least one of them realized, but we'll get to that later. So let me show you how Honey's been stealing money from influencers. So let's say you're watching a video on YouTube. If you're into tech like me, maybe you're watching a Linus Tech Tips video. Linus tells you about this free browser extension that saves you money online. You install it in 2 clicks and boom, you have Honey. Perfect timing because it just so happens you're looking to buy a new CPU for your computer. You come across another Linus Tech Tips video and after watching, you're convinced you should buy the one recommended in his video. So you scroll down and find Linus's affiliate link to that product. Now, for those of you who don't know, when you click an affiliate link and buy something, the influencer who promoted the product earns a commission for referring you to that store. So you add the product to your cart, get to the checkout page, and hello, Honey says they found you 10 coupon codes. Sweet. You click apply discounts and Honey gets to work. But unfortunately, none of the coupon codes worked. Doesn't matter though, because as Honey has promised us for years, that means we know we've got the best deal. So you complete your purchase, you're happy, your new CPU's on the way, Linus is happy, he's getting his commission, everyone's happy, right? Well, let's quickly rewind and see what was happening behind the scenes. You see, after clicking Linus's affiliate link, you'll notice in the URL, there's a tracking tag labeled short circuit. That's a reference to one of Linus's YouTube channels. And this tracking tag is how Newegg knows who to pay a commission to. We can also see that this tracking tag has been saved on my browser in the form of a cookie that will expire in 30 days. That way, if we only decide to complete the purchase a few days later, Linus will still be credited the sale. It's kind of like when you're at a department store buying a TV and the salesman who helped you gives you a referral card or a receipt with their name on it, so when you eventually get to the checkout counter, the clerk knows which salesman to award the sale to. You can think of affiliate cookies as a digital version of that. So what happened when we got to the checkout page? Well, once Honey popped up, watch what happened to Linus's affiliate cookie after we clicked apply discounts. You see that? Honey came in, removed Linus's affiliate cookie, and replaced it with their own, claiming credit for the sale and pocketing the commission money for themselves. Yeah. Now, if we quickly go back again, we can see what's causing this to happen. After clicking apply discounts, what you'll notice is that in the top left corner of your browser, Honey discreetly opens a small new tab, which acts like a simulated referral click, as if they were the ones to refer you to the website, even though you're already on the website and at the checkout page. Once that page is finished loading and has stuffed PayPal's affiliate cookie, the tab automatically closes, leaving you blissfully unaware that anything ever happened. It's very sneaky. Now, when I first discovered this was happening, I thought, there's no way. Why would all these high-profile influencers be promoting a company that is actively poaching their affiliate commissions? It didn't make any sense. So to make sure I wasn't going crazy, I went on a Honey testing spree, clicking one affiliate link after another, and it kept happening. But even after all those tests, I scoured the internet to see if anyone was talking about this and found nothing. Okay, there was this one debate about it on the Y Combinator forum, but nothing concrete. Besides that, virtually nobody was talking about this, adding fuel to my doubt. So I figured, screw it, I'll reach out to Honey and ask them directly. And sure enough, they came back to me with the following. If Honey is activated and is the last program used while shopping on a site, it is likely Honey will receive credit for the purchase. I was right, and just like that, my investigation into Honey began. Now,
all right. So
some might consider...
So really the accusation here, as he quickly went through, is because of lax click attrition, right? The industry standard, only the final touch point is getting that credit. So Honey, the browser extension, was replacing those cookies with a PayPal cookies to claim the sale. Okay, so this is really, so according to Megalag, the accusation is they're stealing these affiliate credits, these affiliate commissions with tricky clicks, and basically just using the extension or even closing a pop-up is considered using Honey, and therefore they would get credit for the sale. So anytime you click to use Honey, anytime you click search for coupons, clicking apply a coupon, clicking earn PayPal rewards, clicking pay with PayPal, or even clicking got it, when they tell you there are no coupon codes available, will switch the affiliate code over to PayPal, allowing them to claim commission and make money from the sale. Okay, so make sure that's it. Okay, so that is the main one of the main allegations here. First, that they're stealing affiliate commissions. Now, it's ironic, as he mentioned at the beginning of the video, because YouTube was Honey's prime marketing strategy. This was the way they were going to build their brand. They sponsored approximately 5,000 videos across over 1,000 channels, totaling 7.8 million views. Okay, so Mr. Beast we saw, Marquez Brownlee, Linus Sebastian of Linus Tech Tips are kind of the bigger ones. And what's interesting about Linus's Tech Tips, he put out 60 videos as part of his agreement with Honey. So he promoted Honey in 60 videos. They totaled over 200 million views. He was actually aware of the affiliate link replacement, this account, and that team was aware of it. They ended the partnership with Honey, but they did not inform any other creators or the public when they found out the affiliate links were being switched. So that is a side, like a little side detail, but that's another great place to dig into with our students. This is almost like a real ethical and moral decision or reflection, I think, on this team of people who decided that, hey, we're going to protect our bag, but we're not going to let anyone else know that they're stealing. I mean, did they have an obligation to? You can really turn that around and look at it a bunch of different ways. But as Megaleg says in the video, imagine being the influencers who promoted Honey, telling your audience, who are by the way, the most likely to use your links, to download an app that poaches your sales. Like, it's crazy. His second accusation is that Honey didn't only just scam their marketers, they are also scamming their customers, us who downloaded this product.
But it's time to shift gears, because unfortunately, this scam runs much deeper than stolen affiliate commissions. It's time we talk about how Honey used these influencers to sell you a complete lie. How they sold you a product that was doing the opposite of what they promised. You see, as I was testing Honey across different stores, I was encountering a reoccurring issue. When I reached the checkout page, Honey would claim it couldn't find me any coupon codes. Yet when I searched manually, I found working codes with ease. And even when Honey did find me a code, I was often able to find another code of better value. Kind of strange, given their claim that,
well, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is now a thing of the past.
Another oddity was that Honey would often only find me Honey-branded coupon codes, such as Honey 5 or Honey 10. Why would a store only have Honey-branded coupon codes? Kind of weird, right? But the biggest red flag was that when I tried submitting the better coupon codes I'd found, Honey wasn't adding them to their database. So why not? Well, eventually I figured out what was going on. It turns out that one of the key benefits for stores partnering with Honey is that they are given full control over which coupon codes go live on the platform, if any at all. I discovered this while listening to a podcast produced by Honey, which appears to be aimed at attracting new businesses to joining their platform. In this podcast, an employee from the Australian clothing store, Princess Polly, discusses the benefits of partnering with Honey.
What would you say to any brand that is considered working with Honey but hasn't yet?
I would say missing out on converting customers. Like I said before, Gen Z is super discount savvy. You can't ignore the fact that they will hunt for like discount codes and they might find a better deal. With Honey, you can also control the discount code percentage, which means like they will potentially find a higher discount code on the internet. It literally lets you control like the customer journey, convert and control like the discount code percentage as well.
This is insane. She's basically saying, Honey is great for businesses because it encourages users not to bother hunting for coupon codes, and it allows businesses to control which coupon codes are shared with consumers. Now, I was able to further verify this on Honey's website, specifically the FAQ page for partners, which clearly states, as a partner, you have control over the content hosted on the Honey platform. So yes, even if Honey knows of a coupon code that offers, say, 20% off, but a partnering store tells them, hey, only share a 5% off coupon, then that's the only discount Honey will apply to your cart at the checkout page. I mean, holy shit. Honey wasn't finding you the best deals possible. They were intentionally withholding them from you for their own financial gain.
Okay, again, strong wording, strong allegations, right?
Completely invalidates Honey's.
Honey users will not look for other coupons because they have this browser extension. They give their merchant partners control of which coupons are offered to customers, and they will withhold the best coupon from a user if that is what the merchant partner asked them to do. So that is his evidence for the second accusation. Honey is stealing from their customers and scamming them. Okay, so one thing I would present if I was doing this in a classroom would say, hey, do you need more information? Is there facts or information that I have not provided? for you to determine if this is a scam or smart business. And I put shady/smart business. Again, language is important, it matters. I just want to make sure that we recognize that sometimes smart business also has dubious morals. And I think that that can be an interesting discussion. So I would open it up and say, do you have any other information? Oh my gosh, Luke, thank you. I just opened the chat. Luke gave me a hint on how to get those ads out of my next webinar. But if there is any additional information that you need, please feel free to put it in the chat. If not, now is the time. We've presented the information. Okay, so let's look at our first accusation. Let's focus on customers. Okay, so is this a scam? Is Honey scamming their customers? Or would we call this a smart business move? I would love for anybody who has an opinion here to volunteer. If anyone's willing to unmute and share, or if you just want a moment to go ahead and type into your chat, please feel free to do that. All right. And while we are waiting for some of the answers here, let me see if I can pick on somebody. We're getting some answers rolling into Linda. What do you think? Oh, wait, Linda's voice is a little scratchy. I won't pick on Linda. Lance, do you have an opinion on this? Oh, Linda, so you're unmuting.
I think it's a scam.
You think it's a scam? Interesting. So remembering the definitions also that we looked at earlier. Thank you so much, Linda. So we've got a lot of scams. Okay. While it doesn't seem ethical, all the information is on the website. That's from Melissa. It's an interesting point. Unethical, shady, right? Scam, shady business move. And we've got a few people chiming in on the unethical. Caleb is pointing out it's very much not helping them find the best code or the lowest price. So we're on a scam as far as customers go. If we look at then the affiliate commission, right? I guess I put scam here. This is actually a crime they're being accused of, right? So on count one, I believe if I were to put this to a poll, we're not a unanimous jury, but we're leaning heavily towards scam on accusation one. Let's go ahead and take a look at accusation two. So again, please feel free to chime in the chat and let us know, what do you think? Is this stealing from our affiliate marketers entering the partnership? Okay, we're starting to get our answers rolling in here. Scam, let's see here. I've got Victoria saying scam, not providing the service they are selling that they do provide. False advertising, thank you, Miss Linda. Again, dishonest marketing from Luke. Fraudulent from Rennie, I hope I pronounced that right. Okay, so we're falling very much on the side of this is possibly criminal activity as far as false advertising, stealing, right? Okay, Nathan, turning it over to you again. Let's come in with our Washington Department of Financial Institutions friend here to say, Nathan, if someone came to you at DFI and said, hey, I'm a customer, right? I'm a customer, right? We're from the customer point of view here. I downloaded this app. There's false advertising. They're not doing what they said they would do. Is that something that DFI could help them with?
DFI specifically, probably not, as Honey is not a financial service provider per se. But I would certainly refer them to the Attorney General's office, their Consumer Protection Division. They would certainly be able to look into that. And yeah, I think the operating principle here is, are you a victim of false pretenses, right? Are you made to believe something? And certainly by what the affiliate marketers are saying, if Honey doesn't have the discount code, then you're getting the best price out there. They'll guarantee and get you the best price. They'll give you the best discount, blah, 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 etc. So with what was revealed in this video, the allegations, it seems to be that the companies, in fact, can control what sort of discounts Honey can or cannot, will or will not provide, rather. Which I would say if I hadn't read the terms of services and I was only basing it off of what the affiliate marketers were saying, I would say that's definitely scammy, right? Once
But you
again,
bring up such a good point with terms and conditions, Nathan, and we've talked about
right.
that a lot.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm
that's the
sorry.
thing with terms and conditions is that it is so much fine print. And I've never read the terms and conditions. I full disclosure, I barely read my lease until I needed to check what was gonna be my part of the cost if I had to replace like one of the window shades or something like that, you know? So oftentimes we only read the terms and conditions if we're in trouble, or if we're trying to figure out, oh, is what this company is telling me actually true or not, right? So absolutely, to your point there, Amy, about the opportunity cost for skipping those terms and services, I think there is a high potential for a disalignment, let's put it that way, between expectations and reality. Um, and whether it is, I mean, you could certainly make a case for false advertisement. You could certainly make a case for, yeah, I mean, shady business practices at the very least.
Right?
Um,
And then I want to kind of talk about what you said just a minute. So the expectations that are created when we engage, right, with a brand or a product, and like that disconnect that you're talking about when what we think is happening versus is what is happening, like as consumers, can be really difficult, especially when you think that like an influencer or some social media person is like a friend of yours, right? Like you have this parasocial relationship where you feel like you kind of owe them something.
hmm Yeah, absolutely. And in many cases, like in the example that was in the video, if you are in the market for something and you see an influencer or a content creator that you whose content you do appreciate, you may opt to use their affiliate link as a way of sort of quote unquote giving back to them or supporting the channel or whatever. Nowadays we see a lot more prevalent emphasis on like Patreons or Substacks or these like
Mm-hmm.
niche ways to support the channel more directly, barring affiliate marketing. But I mean, even it is super prevalent, and I think, I don't know, it's just a little bit problematic in my view because you are trying to sort of give back in a sense as a consumer to whatever content creator sort of put you onto this, and support their mission and their projects. And at the same time, I mean, if you're using a the Honey browser extension, then yeah, I don't know, read the terms and services, I
And
guess.
conditions. And it's we had a great comment from Caleb in the chat and from I'm sorry, someone Cox M, but then also Caleb. So one pointed out that they count on us not reading the fine print, which I do think it's a human nature. I mean, it's known that we can only pay attention for like a finite time. So, and then maybe AI can help read terms and conditions, which is a fantastic idea. Let's all teach our GPTs. But that did also bring up a thought for me that we hadn't chatted about before. Terms and conditions kind of have you over a barrel, though. You want to use the app, you want to use the service, you agree. Like there's no in between. It's getting better now with the cookies being more transparent and being able to unsubscribe from things. Those are new FTC regulations that have come out. But reading the terms and conditions is one thing, and it is really important, especially if you care about data mining. But it's also very black and white. You either accept them or you don't use this app or whatever. So thank you so much, Nathan, for weighing in there. So when we're looking at student learning here, I hope you guys are kind of seeing there is no perfect, clear answer here. No one has to date been charged with a crime, okay, because it is murky. There is some cases where the legislation has to catch up with the technology as well. So again, we want to look at this from multiple different views. Here are some learning prompts. Again, this is very wordy. This will be provided for you guys, but a couple that I really like is evaluating the ethos, logos, and pathos of Megaleg. Okay, so that's of course the credibility or authority of the speaker. Logos would be their logic. reason, and then pathos would be their appeal to emotions. He pretty much single-handedly broke this story. Do you consider him a reliable source, right? Because as Nathan mentioned, if we're only hearing from one affiliate marketer side, it can be difficult to know. And then, does it change your opinion of PayPal as a company, of YouTubers and how they market to you, of social commerce and affiliate marketing in general? I think these are great opportunities to dig in. And then we also provided a couple on just social media and spending, because anytime we can really evaluate, our students are using social media completely different than we are, and it is primarily a spending avenue now. So anytime we can look through our apps and even just reflect on, wow, what do they know about me? What are they advertising to me? How do they know that I'm in the market for glasses? Right? And that genuinely happened to me. I was looking up glasses and I got Warby Parker ads the next day. So things that we can look at to give our kids some healthy financial skepticism. Just a little bit on the fallout from this, okay? Since the video was uploaded, they can use the Wayback Machine to check this. There are 3 to 4 million fewer downloads of the Honey extension. So about 3 or 4 million, between 3 and 4 million people who had it I can't think of the word right now. They deloaded it. I removed it from their computer. There's been multiple class action lawsuits filed. Megazag promised a 3-part series and has come out with no additional videos to date. I read one article that said that was because of the lawsuits, but I don't have that confirmed. Uninstall. Thank you, Caleb. Caleb's coming through a clutch. And then the biggest thing was that Google actually changed the rules of their Chrome extension browsers. You are no longer permitted, if you want to have a browser extension through Google, to inject affiliate links without tangible benefit to the user. So it did lead to some change. We'll see if down the road, if that ends up affecting the lawsuit. Nathan.
Yeah, just as you're going through this, a couple things came to mind. First I'll do this before I forget, but yeah, even the wording here in Google's extension rules gives some wiggle room, right? It says without providing a tangible benefit to users. So of course, in this case, Honey could say, well, in reality, we are offering them a discount code that perhaps they would not have been able to find without our service. So that could be categorized as a tangible benefit to users. So even in spite of this scandal, could be that they're still allowed to operate and inject their own affiliate link in this sort of a situation, right? And I think the second point I was going to make is just going back to the rapport that we find with content creators. Oftentimes, I would imagine that the content creators themselves are not necessarily aware of the ins and outs of what's exactly happening with one service or another that they're promoting. It's very, yeah,
No, you're right, because several of the lawsuits have been filed by affiliate marketers.
Right.
And then some have also been filed by customers. So it seems just from that legal action that they were unaware. And obviously, like, who is going to promote a product that's taking money out of your pocket? It's wild.
Of course. And I mean, all of these, or a lot of these affiliate marketing links and products that are sort of dropped in podcasts and in YouTube videos and stuff like that, many of the content creators are given a script by the company themselves. So as far as they know, they're just reading a script and have sort of a bird's eye view or a very surface level understanding, rather, of what the product actually is. So they themselves probably aren't super well informed either. Which
you teed that up for me, Nathan. You're teeing this up for me. I appreciate you. We're moving on to meme coins and almost this exact topic. Thank you, sir, for that point. All right, so our second case study today is meme coins and Hawk coin or Hawk token, depending on how you read it. Sometimes the dollar sign's in front, sometimes the dollar sign's at the end. It's crypto. So we're going to talk very, very briefly about crypto. We're going to talk about this young lady, Haley Welch. I will be referring to her as Haley Welch and Haley Welch only. And we'll talk about the hot coin and decide if that is a sound investment strategy, smart business, or a scam. I'm going to give you the most basic high-level overview of crypto ever. If you came here hoping to learn a ton about crypto, I'm sorry, I am not the person to confidently do that for you. What I can tell you, the basic thing that we know about cryptocurrency that's the most important part of the definition, it's digital money. It exists only online, right? Not issued by any government. US issues dollars, the EU issues euros. No one is issuing Bitcoin. It is run on decentralized computer networks. Again, meaning on a second level, it is not controlled by any single entity. No government, no person, no company, no country controls it. They utilize blockchain technology. And that's really an important definition for this case study. It's a public digital ledger. Again, public. Which is kind of one of the amazing things about crypto is that whatever you do, there is a visual record that other people can follow. The major cryptocurrencies, which kind of become synonymous, are Bitcoin and Ethereum. And you'll kind of see if you're in a supportive crypto kind of environment that a lot of pointing out that these were created in part to solve problems. Like Bitcoin was created to be a peer-to-peer digital cash system to offer an alternative to traditional banking, which are a lot of great, like, you know, if you think about, oh man, if I don't have a bank, I'm living in a banking desert, like, hey, an alternative to this tradition, right? So in part, created to try and solve problems, right? Which is a very, very different thing than a meme coin. A meme coin, now what we're talking about, it's a type of cryptocurrency. It's like to reference a meme or a funny image or a joke or an internet trend. They gain attention and value through online communities, right? The celebrities, the influencers that sponsor them or promote them. They are purely speculative, meaning people buy them hoping the price will go up. There's no other purpose. Maybe you're like a collector of meme coins, but I don't really see how that is a functional, you know, unless you're very, very deep in this space. They are completely hype-based. They are not built to be sustainable. They are not built to endure. They are built on hype. And they are characterized by prices that skyrocket and crash. That's a characteristic. So the big takeaway here is that a major established cryptocurrency like Bitcoin is very high risk because of the decentralized nature, because of the purely digital nature that makes it high risk. Meme coins are 100 million times riskier, right? So if cryptocurrency is something you are absolutely interested in, or you have somebody who just really wants to learn about it, we're focusing on major established cryptocurrencies. Meme coins are not that. And I have an analogy here to compare cryptocurrency and meme coins. So it's like comparing a major studio motion picture to a viral social media video. In this case, our major cryptos are that major motion picture, you know, blockbuster, Avengers Endgame, carefully planned, long-term goals in mind, years in the making, right? Whereas our viral social media video is like our meme coin. This happens to catch people's attention at the right moment. It's purely luck and being able to appeal to some larger social, you know, movement or feeling. So if we're comparing that to, you know, the guy who was skateboarding down the road and listening to Fleetwood Mac and drinking cranberry juice and went viral, right? There's a completely different approach to these two things. So if you're thinking on an investment point of view, if you're saying, hey, no, crypto is an investment, meme coins are an investment, where would you rather put your money? Neither of these is a traditional way to build retirement, you know, wealth or security. But if you had to put your money in one, you'd go with the major motion picture over the viral social media. I'm not going to get into this. This is purely a reference chart for future reference if this is something that is helpful. It breaks down the features of major crypto and meme coins and kind of allows some comparison and contrasting. This is, again, meant to be a classroom resource or instructional tool to just provide both sides. Why do we care as people who are working with educators or with children, with students? Because young people are so increasingly aware of this through TikTok, through YouTube, gaming communities. I mean, Cardi B had a meme coin. People of all ages are hearing about this. It's the latest kind of get rich quick sort of scheme that is out there a lot. It's comparable to extreme gambling. And that is also an unhealthy behavior that we want to be aware of. It can have huge financial implications for financial wellness and stability. But also because providing some of these financial education skills that apply to education in general, identifying risk, evaluating sources, right? So some of these claims that seem amazing and high flying, these financial education skills can provide a little bit of grounding. We don't want to be wet blankets, but we want to be realistic in, if something is too good to be true, it probably is. And just a point of view to consider, I found this in an article. Meme coins represent the modern monetization of the attention economy, right? Attention. We're always fighting for attention. Everything on social media is fighting for our attention, for our students' attention. This is sort of where meme coins and the popularity for it is coming. And now we got to talk about Miss Haley Welch. So this girl was everywhere last year. I mean, I maybe wouldn't be surprised if you didn't know who she was, but honestly, she was everywhere. She literally shot to fame after a 9-second street interview clip went viral. Do not watch the clip with your students. It is not safe for work. It is an intimate question that she answers, and her answer used that onomatopoeia for spitting. So she became known as Talk to a Girl. I am referring to her as Haley Welch. Vanity Fair says with her plucky can-do attitude and Dolly Parton accent, the 22-year-old from Belfast, Tennessee, parlayed her 15 minutes of fame into something of a business empire. Okay, so she was working at a spring factory in Tennessee when it went viral. And I just like this quote. She was very embarrassed at first. And then she went from being embarrassed to living in the moment. And how did she do that? Let's take a look. A timeline of viral fame. 6 months. This girl's life completely changed in 6 months. The video went viral on June 12th. By July, Forbes was reporting that she had launched her own merchandise to compete with other people who were trying to make money off of her saying, and had made $65,000 in sales off of baseball hats. She threw out the first pitch at a New York Mets game. That was a bad move. That was not a well-received PR move. They got a lot of criticism for that, but it was all over the news. She launched a podcast called Talk to a. It reached 5th on Spotify's daily charts. It was behind Joe Rogan's podcast for a while. The next month, she launched a dating app. And then in December, she launched her Hotcoin. She announced Hotcoin on her podcast where Mark Cuban, who is the former owner of the Mavs, was the guest. He is also visible in the crypto space. But she was, 2024, from the last half of it, this girl was all over social media and, Daily Mail, all the news. Even now, there's closing in on 500,000 TikTok videos with the hashtag of her nickname. So she was a very, very, like a perfect example of how viral fame can just sweep you up. So she announces this on her podcast. She's going to do a meme coin. It's going to be awesome. They marketed it as this means of interaction. Like if you're a fan of Haley's and you want to come interact with her, join this meme coin. It's a community first project. We're doing this for the greater good. All of the coins that Haley gets, for example, they're locked. She can't even sell anything for a year, right? And so she had, at this point, 1.8 million TikTok followers. She had the 5th biggest podcast on Spotify, and she promoted this token to her followers on those platforms. It's a really good thing, quote unquote. Not the usual way to make money, she said. Okay. And as we'll see kind of later, there was a dedicated effort to getting people who are not in the crypto space engaged in this product. Okay. For better or worse, that was her fan base, right? And then we get to December 4th. The 95% crash everyone saw coming. We launched at 10 p.m. on December 4th. We had a 900% pump. It surged to $490 million in market cap. So everything out there was worth $490 million. In less than 3 hours, the value had plummeted 91%. By the end of the day, it was close to $25 million. So it was a massive surge and a massive drop. And like we mentioned, these were people who were not familiar with crypto, had never done this before. So as you can see from this X post, we have this person saying, "Hi, Haley Welch. My $235,000 that I purchased of Hawk token by taking a loan is now $2,000 after 10 minutes of buying. I'm a huge fan of Hawktua, but you took my life savings. Please help me, or who can I contact for refunds? If not, I will be forced to use legal action." Which is honestly heartbreaking to read, because what refund? You know, I think to me, this just shows how little information some of the people who invested in this had on how crypto actually works. Essentially, like just flinging themselves off of a cliff, hoping for that massive return. There was an immediate and aggressive backlash against this. It was so egregious, the rise and the fall, that the backlash from both fans and even just casual observers was pretty swift. Within a day, the team behind the token hosted a Twitter Spaces to address some of the concerns. We'll kind of talk about it in a minute, but we're going to show a little. Again, this was broken on YouTube this one was broken by a user called CoffeeZilla. So we're going to watch just a few minutes of him explaining. And I'm going to preface this by saying on the call, he's part of the video, he's actually on this Team Spaces call. And there is one expletive that you're going to hear. I could not find a way to bleep that out, which would be within the context of the investors, don't give a S word. They don't even know what a market cap is. So because of the statement and because of that, I feel like it's important to hear it in context. And so I am going to play the clip, but just with some forewarning.
I want to break down the Hawktua scam. I think people are confused with this kind of stuff. I want to start with the big tweet that kind of set it all off. That would be this by Bubble Maps, which showed 96% of the supply was controlled by the team and was being sent out to a bunch of smaller wallets. The implication being that some of them might be dumping on you. Pretty quickly, the Hawktua girl came in to copy and paste what her team told her to say, which said, "Team hasn't sold one token and not one key opinion leader was given one free token. We tried to stop snipers as best we could through high fees at the start of the launch." And so you see their awful tokenomics here, along with this response. The team hasn't sold one token. And then they post, obviously, a screenshot of a lot of sells from insiders who did not have to pay. You can see on the bot side, there's nothing. And then on the sold side, they're making a lot of money. So how did you get free tokens? Well, you were an insider, right? And I just want to show you exactly how the Hawktua team is sort of lying by omission here when they say the team hasn't sold one token. And that's because they pre-sold the tokens, guys. They sold them to a bunch of investors with a pre-sale, and then those people were unlocked immediately upon launch. So you can see that with her tokenomics here. It says Haley's locked for 12 months, but you can see the strategic allocation is fully unlocked immediately on token generation event. Now, I spoke to some people who bought into this pre-sale. They say they got in at $16.69 million total valuation, which means that if they sold out the whole 17%, you're looking at about $2.8 million raised by pre-selling these tokens. So it is essentially a lie to say her team didn't sell tokens. Well, they pre-sold them, and then those investors dumped on your fans. That's the problem. Because Bubble Map says we found 285 investors join the Hawk pre-sale. That's about what I saw as well. 89 wallets sold 100% on launch. 47 sold over 50%. Anyway, you can see in total, $3.3 million were sold. Again, as you'll see, on mostly Haley Welch's fans, or Hawk to a Girl's fans. And I know what you're thinking. Who falls for this? Well, unfortunately, with situations like this, they're not targeting crypto bros. They're mostly targeting like actual fans who've never been involved in the crypto space before. They don't know any better. And you're going to hear the guy behind a lot of this say that explicitly.
These are people that are outside of crypto that we're going to be onboarding, and they don't give a shit. They don't even know what a market cap is. They just go, oh, cool, free coin. Now I get to join the community. Cool, done.
Not only did they say it, they sold it in a pitch deck. You can see the Hawk deck here. Massive onboarding event. Hawk will onboard normies. So that's why I just don't buy this thought of, oh, well, if you bought this, you deserve to get scammed. Okay, fine. But a lot of the people who bought it had never bought crypto before. They were targeting those people. They said as much in our call. Now, the other part of this scam that
Okay. So that's the first, I would say strong accusation. Just for the record, during that Twitter Spaces discussion, Haley kind of mid-question from somebody says, all right, you guys, I'm going to bed, and interrupts and kind of ends the call. And that was the last anyone heard of from her for months. So as we see here, there was a targeted effort in this token drop to onboard normies. I don't even know how I feel about being called a normie, honestly. So this was two sources that kind of broke this story. It would be Bubble Map. They are a blockchain visualization tool. It's literally all they do is analyze blockchains and create pretty visuals that go along with them. And remember, we talked about this is all public. So it's not like people can't see from, even if you don't know what you're looking at this image, right? You see all of this activity in this one cluster. That's what they're talking about, right? And then CoffeeZilla was the other kind of source here. He's that YouTuber, 850,000, 850 million-ish subscribers. He is exclusively in the crypto space. That's all he does and talks about. He calls himself a crypto sleuth. He's referred to as a crypto journalist, and he does a lot of scam videos. Fun fact, he actually was sued by Jake Paul over Jake Paul's crypto venture. And this is an interesting connection. Haley Welch's management company is Jake Paul's company. Better is his organization. So he is very active in the crypto space. That was her management company. So to me, that was like a piece of the puzzle that makes a little more sense. How did this girl get here? That could possibly be the trail that led to crypto. So the key accusations here is that 96% of these meme coins were controlled by the insiders. That pre-sale allowed those insiders to manipulate the market to the tune of $3.3 million. And when you sell immediately, you sell pressure, right? They created sort of a chain reaction for others who held that weren't on this inside thing, like, oh my gosh, everyone's, you're trying to get out while your stuff is still worth something. The other aspect of this is that they generated over $2 million in fees in 24 hours. And the fees is another big thing that CoffeeZilla kind of goes into. So, but really the response was an unsympathetic internet, as you see from some of the, I still call them tweets, but X posts here. They're saying anyone, who took these cues from this girl deserves the L they took. They're very Gen Z coded. I really like this guy saying someone is having to explain to his wife and kids there's no Christmas because daddy YOLO'd into the Hawk to a meme coin, which is, it's pretty funny. So a lot of people are saying you deserve to lose your money, which of course CoffeeZilla kind of counters by saying, yes, but they were specifically targeted for their lack of knowledge of crypto, right? So I'm not gonna play this video just because I want to make sure we have time left together, but he talks a lot about those fees, that $2.5 million in fees that were generated, 15% fee, right? If you're investing $100, you're spending $15 on a fee. And they're blaming it on what they call a sniper in crypto, but he really pushes back in this video and demands an answer for who pockets the fees, who owns the token, and can get no straight answer out of the team. So it's another thing. I mean, in investing, we always talk about fees. When you're looking at a stock portfolio, if you're looking at a fund, pay attention to the fees. You never want to be paying more in fees than you're earning. That applies, that general good advice applies to the crypto space too. Okay. What do we think here? Oh, before I ask you if it's a pump and dump, I have to tell you what a pump and dump is. So that's a little out of order here. So let me just show a quick definition of a pump and dump. And if you have an opinion already, you can go ahead and start typing in there in the chat, hey, is this a scam? Or was this an investment strategy that just went wrong? Was this a choice that people made that just went wrong? Or was it a scam that should be prosecuted by law? So looking for accusations or for opinions in the chat. While we're there, let's look at what a specific crypto rug pull.
One platform.
The cryptocurrency world is a volatile one, but one roller coaster you don't want to get caught on is a pump and dump. Fortunately, pump and dump schemes have telltale signs that make them relatively easy to spot. In this video, we'll show you how to identify a pump and dump in cryptocurrency so you can avoid being blindsided. Pump and dump schemes are when people work together to inflate the price of a low-value cryptocurrency or token by buying en masse at the same time, waiting for other unsuspecting investors to FOMO into the asset, and then selling their positions when the price rises to a certain level. Pump and dump schemes in the TradFi world are illegal, but since most cryptos are unregulated, crypto pump and dump schemes operate in a legal gray area. They are morally dubious, to say the least, as they rely on deceiving unsuspecting buyers and using them as exit liquidity. This type of scam starts off with a pump phase, when large holders of an asset, such as project developers or early investors, hype up the project, often with exaggerated claims and promises of riches on social media platforms like Twitter, YouTube, or Telegram. With time, more and more people buy the asset, causing its price to skyrocket. What follows is called the dump phase, where the original investors liquidate their holdings as soon as the asset reaches a certain price and run off with huge profits. The dump phase usually happens fast, with the asset's price falling significantly, leaving those who got in late with no choice but to sell as well and wind up taking heavy losses or having their holdings go essentially to zero.
So listening to that video, I think there were a couple really important details. Hope we picked up on the part that talked about in traditional finance, or TradFi is what they referred to it, pump and dump schemes are illegal, but cryptocurrency is largely unregulated, right? So it is a legal gray area, absolutely, morally dubious, ethically not great. But because of crypto and its identity as this decentralized currency, it's very tricky. So with that, oopsies, kind of going back here, and I saw a lot of people answering the first question, but I want to know who you think is responsible, because overwhelmingly people are saying this is a scam in the chat. So who is responsible for it, and is Haley Welch responsible for it? We have some awesome answers in the chat that I want to get to as well. Just know, and then we'll kind of chat with Nathan here. So I'm going to go through some of the answers really quick. Everyone's saying scam. Kim made the point that it could have started with good intentions, especially since the market dip couldn't have been predicted. Caleb thinks that maybe Hawk2 Girl didn't individually pump and dump, but she enabled other major stakeholders to do so. Lindy believes she had financial mentors that were frauds. She was a young regular girl. There's no way she was individually responsible for this, but someone she trusted was deceitful. And in that case, I do think it's worth knowing a little bit about Haley Welch as a person. She was raised by her paternal grandmother. Neither of her parents are in her life, right? This is not a person who, just based on what I've read about her, had a strong support system to provide her the financial background to be aware, the financial background to be aware, but maybe even just the social and emotional awareness to know if you're being, taken advantage of, could be affected by that as well. So, Nathan, I see you also had a mention in the chat here, targeting uninformed audiences, leveraging the recognition of and trust in the content creator to inspire action. And that was a lot of the conversation we had in this planning. Was you mentioned that the trust people have in characters or people's character is really proportional to the amount of risk that they will take.
Yeah, I think that's obviously I haven't done massive studies to prove this, but it seems to sort of follow that the more we trust an individual or a company, the greater risks we are willing to take. I probably wouldn't give a random person on the street $1,000 if they said they were going to give me 4% back, but I would do the same with a financial institution, right? So there is that trust, which is an important component, an important factor there. I think to the first point here on the slide, there is a certain level of consumer responsibility to be aware and to know. But then again, what you were saying earlier in the presentation, Amy, is that a lot of times legislation has to catch up. And working at a regulatory agency, we see this constantly, where there's a new technology coming out, there's a new platform coming out, there's a new type of virtual currency coming out, and having to do all of the catch up to sort of figure out what is this, first of all, how can we regulate this, how can we try to create a safe space in this. So while of course it is important for us consumers to be educated on this, but on several of these newer topics, it's really difficult. And when, let's say, 95% of the information out there is from people who have sort of vested interests in seeing either meme coins or cryptocurrency or whatever succeed, when that's 95% of the information out there, then it's going to be very hard to find reliable sources that can sort of give you tips and tricks on how to keep yourself safe.
Yes, absolutely.
I would like to touch on this third point because I think it's really quite an interesting phenomenon. The whole pump and
Just have
dump
about a
thing.
minute left, Nathan, just so you know.
Okay, perfect. The whole pump and dump thing, when big stakeholders or when big shareholders buy up a lot of a certain stock or a meme coin or a cryptocurrency, and then they dump it, what ends up happening is that the people who weren't able to sell on time, basically the money that they lost effectively transfers. It's basically a wealth transfer in my mind anyway, where the money that I'm losing is money that X other person is gaining, right? So yeah,
Awesome.
I just wanted to draw attention to that because I mean, money's tight in the first place. So
Yep. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, as we wrap up here, again, we're going to provide you with some of these prompts here. I love the first one. Do you agree or disagree with the statement that if you invest in a meme coin, you deserve to lose your money? You know, why or why not? Both as adults and as children, I think they're students. I think that's a really interesting topic to dig into. Just a little bit about the fallout. So there was a massive backlash, like we talked about. The ongoing debate on regulating cryptocurrency continues. A law firm actually advertised on X and filed a civil suit for the investors. There's also been a class action lawsuit filed in New York that alleges the unlawful promotion and sale of the token without the proper registration. So that is a legal avenue that they can pursue. Basically, the SEC makes anybody who wants to file a crypto complaint go through this Howey test. If it passes the Howey test, it can be considered a security and be under investigation. So they actually opened an investigation into Haley, not into like kind of Haktua, but more into her specifically and her role. So if we look at the fallout related just to her, she was investigated. She was recently cleared at the end of March. There are no consequences for her. She disappeared from public life, but don't call it a comeback. She's back. And this week, you guys, I saw the article yesterday. I had finished the slide deck. I cannot not put this in here. So please stick with me for just one more second if you can. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Here's the quote from the article. I hate that it's even a thing, Welch told the publication about the crypto controversy. Half of those people that done it were like my fans. They trusted me, like guiding them into it. And I don't know, it really hurt my feelings when it turned out the way it did. I wish it hadn't have happened. I feel like if we just look at that quote, you're again just reminded of how little this person knew and was prepared to impact the financial wellness of all of her followers, which is really interesting. So thank you so much for joining us today for the last of our spring series professional developments. Thank you, Nathan, so much as our partner from DFI coming and sharing your expertise. And again, I'm just going to kind of close with our little housekeeping slide here. If you came in late and you didn't sign in with your name or school or district, that is how we are going to get you the clock hours. So be sure to do that now. Rate and evaluate the training when you receive emails from PD Enroller. And I saw this question in the chat. We will absolutely make sure this presentation is available for you. It'll be in PD Enroller downloadable for you to be able to use and adapt in your classrooms as needed. I do hope this was interesting. I hope you were able to kind of look at this multifaceted issue and that it was as interesting as the content was as interesting as the hopes were at the beginning. So thank you very, very much again for being here. Thank you for all the work you do. And Melissa is pointing out that if Haley Wells had a teacher with this information, she might not have ended up in this situation. And that's last thought, best thought. Melissa, I think that is an excellent point. Sometimes you don't have to go really deep into these topics to make an impact. You don't have to know everything about crypto to talk about this topic and just bring it up. Consumer awareness is one of the greatest things we can pass on for ourselves and our kids. So thank you so much. We'll stick around for a couple minutes in case anyone has any questions, but feel free to head out and enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you again.